when I start telling people of stories that my dad's told me, it's legitimately, that's a podcast in itself because
It would be.
I said, Dad, stop, pulled out my phone and hit record and then started transcribing it. This was pre-AI, like when I started doing, because he tells these stories. And my dad's a good storyteller too. And he's saying it in Russian, so I then had to translate and whatever else. But the stories are incredible because when you think you have a government-run society, and then one day, no one's prepared for it, suddenly that government ceases to exist. Who owns everything? Billy, who owns everything?
Fuck.
So all of these billionaires in Russia,
Oligarchs.
Ukraine, oligarchs, not some of them,
All of
every
them.
single one. How did they get that money?
They took it.
They took it. All of them. Every single one took it. And the way they took it is they would rock up to a bank with heavies.
20 AK-47s, a rocket launcher, whatever.
At that point, you didn't even need it. Heavies is just big dudes, fighters, guys that did sambo, guys that did karate, whatever. It didn't matter.
Open the safe.
No, not even. They would come there and say, all right, so Billy, the worker at the bank, you're going to give us $100 million because we know that you live in this street and your family goes here and this is the school that your kids go to. Now you're going to give us $100 million and we're going to give you $1 million of that and you're going to have an amazing life. Oh, no, I can't. It's the bank's money. I'm going to be killed. By who? But the police serve who? Whose money is it? It's the banks, which is the government's. No, that government doesn't exist. It stopped 2 days ago. So you can either give us the money and have a great life, or
we're going to fucking blow your brains out.
You didn't even, that's the thing. This is even, you didn't need guns. Yeah. You didn't even need guns because who has guns? Then they did the same thing to the military. It's like, hey, you're going to give us a bunch of guns and we're going to give you some money, which we just got from that bank. Oh, okay, sure, take the guns, whatever, whoever.
I need money, yeah.
Mate, it was more than just guns.
Wow.
People got helicopters. There's actually a fantastic Netflix series on this. Is it Netflix? I'll find it for you.
Yeah.
I pirated it, so I'll send it across. Of a guy in Miami that started doing deals with cartel and whatever else, like Russian Jewish guy, and they asked for helicopters, and he was like, yeah, I think we can get it. And he made it happen. Wow. And then they asked for a fucking submarine, and he made it happen.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. A fucking submarine. Because, well, who owns it? No one.
It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Build up of military equipment during the Cold War, and then it's got to fucking go somewhere.
Bang, the government, suddenly it doesn't exist, and the government owns everything. So you take the money that you've stolen from the bank, which is technically the government's, you then go to the oil companies and you say, have the same conversation. You say, hey, Mr. Person running the oil company, this is now ours, and we're going to give you a couple of $1 million for it. It's worth a couple of billion, but we're going to give you a couple of million, and you're going to have a fantastic life. Or you're going to have no life. Which do you want?
Yeah.
And they went, we'll take a good life, thanks. Great. Not only that, but you know what?
Hectic.
When we get even more powerful, we'll look after you. So they rolled out the red carpet.
Yeah.
Because it's either a red carpet or it's a grave, which is a pretty easy decision.
Yeah, 100%.
And then why the bloodbath happened was, well, you want to do that same. So we either work our shit out with a conversation.
The heavies were killing each other.
Or the heavies were taking each other out.
Yeah.
And so whoever comes up on top suddenly is a billionaire overnight. Now, here's the thing. It's like, oh, but why didn't people go after them? Well, okay, if you became a billionaire and then you went back to your area where you live and you went, I'm going to build 3 churches, 4 hospitals, 10 schools,
a fucking
fix
water
the
park,
roads.
everything.
I'm going to make this area and I'm going to make everyone around me have a fantastic life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay the police and I'm going to pay everyone. Everyone's going to love me. Who's coming after that person? You know what? I've got so much money. Now that we're appointing an official government, I want my mates to be the head of this, 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 and this. I'm going to pay people. You're going to be the new president? I'm going to throw some money your way. How's that sound?
And then the
Good?
KGB was constructed.
And so suddenly,
the Kremlin was, yeah.
Well, suddenly, regardless of which country you fell into, where the borders were, if you were a billionaire, you were a billionaire. And now it's all legitimate because, you know, it's kind of like it was free for all. And then it's like, okay, now from 2 years from now, there's going to be rules. For the next 2 years, go hard. And then there's going to be rules.
Rules are now implemented. Whoever's made whatever they've made, now it's solidified.
Done.
Yeah.
So during that time, that's when we left. Because knowing my dad and his personality, he was in a strong position to, he saw that coming because it started happening.
Yeah.
You know, people started coming and asking for things. And he had his heavies, and it got to a stage where once he had to call his heavies to stop other heavies, he was like,
Time to get the fuck out of here.
It's going to escalate, and will either be extremely rich or extremely dead. And knowing my dad's like ego, especially back then, different over years, but back then, probably really dead. Like just knowing how he's confrontational,
knowing how it was going to play out. The other
confrontational. He knew too many people. His ego was up here because he could do everything. Even in a communist country, he could, he could get tickets to the world famous opera tomorrow for something that's sold out.
Yeah.
In Ukraine. He just could because he had the contacts. It was like, to do that, you had to do lots of dodgy shit to then build those contacts.
Yeah.
But equally, you've got a target on your back. So he went, you know what?
I've got a family.
Let's go to Australia. And then he comes here and he's a delivery guy for Australia Post. How do you think his ego goes from that?
That's ego crushing. Yeah. Ego death in a way. Yeah. Yeah.
Completely devastating. So I look at that and the stories behind it, and like
safety is something that you can't buy.
Like, it's your family.
Yeah.
Like
you only, you don't want anything. It's family.
That's it. You can't restart that. It's not like once they're gone, they're gone. Like that's the most important thing. So it's pretty.
You can't put a price on family.
No,